Hi, Jasravee.
Hi, Sheba.
Welcome to Soul Brews with Sheba and welcome to Coffee and Soul. I'm so delighted to have you here with me today.
Thank you, Sheba. I've also been looking forward to this.
Wonderful. It's so good to
Yeah,
have you here. And I'm really excited about our conversation or whatever
yeah.
comes out for us today.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure. I'm looking
lovely.
forward to it. Yes.
Okay. And you're carrying your warm brew with you, whatever it is. It's a
Yes.
green tea.
Yes.
Okay. It's a green tea. And I pour myself my coffee.
Wow. Lavish colors.
It cheers one up, in the morning. It's a lovely
Yeah.
here's to
Yes.
life, Jasravee, and thank you for making the time to be on this show with me.
It's
Cheers.
an honor, Sheba. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Jasravee, I'm going to ask you to hold this cup of tea in your hands. Just nestle it in your palms, and you can just sit back and close your eyes and relax. Just relax. Breathe into it and just be. And share with me if there are any images that come to your mind. What comes to your mind?
You want me to keep the eyes closed?
Yes, while you're looking at it, and whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes.
Sure. There is, I have a little corner in my bedroom. There's a
Mm,
little corner which is just mine. I kind of do my tiny morning ritual experiments there.
mm,
And there is a little flask. It's like a little vase,
mm,
which my mom had given me.
mm.
And in it, there are two big flowers. One is bright red and maroon, those multiple flowers.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know the name.
that's all
I
right.
got it yesterday from the building garden.
Okay,
And there's a yellow one
right,
and some green leaves, very, very unique kind of leaves.
right.
And those two flowers are looking at me.
Wow. What
I can see that. Yeah.
what does that? You can open your eyes whenever you're ready. What do these flowers mean to you? What are they saying?
Just a lot of happiness and some sort of surrender, uh, very bright and happy,
Mm,
cheerful, like you
mm.
look at it and you cannot not smile, So, and I love the colors. It's just so bright, yellow and red,
Yes,
you know.
I know. Couldn't be brighter, no?
Yeah.
Is,
And they
is,
are
is,
my favorite colors
is
as
that
well.
right? I was just going to ask you that. Do these colors have a special significance for you?
Yeah, yeah. Red is my favorite color. And it means everything to me. I mean, somehow red means passion, love. Red also means a lot of spirituality, like
Mm,
soul and spirit. And yellow because it's the sun. I mean,
mm.
it's life, So
Yeah, yeah,
it's like the entire spectrum,
yeah.
Although it's vibgyor, violet to red, but
Right.
like on the physical world,
Yes.
if you look at the chakras, then
Yes.
it's the physical world, solar plexus to
Correct.
your Mooladhara chakra. So, I mean, I'm just now interpreting it, but yeah, it's like everything. It's like, yeah, it means contentment also,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, those two colors there, it's just so everything is there,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And when we look at it from the perspective of mythology, and I mean, red is the color of Shakti as well, right? It's
Yeah,
the
power.
vibrance of the power. And
Yeah.
as you say that, that is what comes to my mind in the spirit of
Ah,
sharing the dialogue. I'm just saying.
oh.
Powerful, very lovely. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for sharing that. Yeah.
Shiva, that's the power, that's true power. in surrender, in being happy, because I think it's easier to be happy if you're not self-indulgent, you know, because your focus is that what can I do? How can I give? How can I be useful? How can I grow? You know, and when that happens, you know, you're happy. No matter
Yes.
what, your focus is on, you know, what you have to do, on what you
Sure.
can control.
Sure. Sure.
And now that you said that, I think that's what's power.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And just are we picking up from here? If I
Yeah.
asked you to reflect on your life thus
Mm.
far, I know
Mm.
what's your journey been like? What have been some of the highs, some of the lows,
Mm.
some defining moments that made you turn a particular way? You know, some of your reflections along that.
Mm. Oh God. um, a lot, I think a lot, because it also feels like that, because
Mm.
in these months, you know, like they say that so far we lived 67 months in this year.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So, you know, my highest moments, you know, if I get into incidents, that'll be too much, but um,
Pick a few. Pick a few.
okay, okay. You know, uh, when I find something about myself, when I discover something about myself that I did not know,
Mm,
or when I awaken to something
mm,
within me, some of my patterns, or you know, something that I do, something that I don't do, and I look back and I say, "Oh my God, I could not see this so far."
mm,
You know,
mm,
that makes me very happy.
mm, mm,
And now, so now, so I'll now actually now take some incidents. So
mm,
let's, because I'm not being able to, you know, link. This just came to me. So so I was born in Ludhiana. I was
mm,
born in Kanpur, actually, Kanpur, and till 10 years I was there till class 5.
mm,
And 1984 riots, our
mm.
factory was burnt to ashes.
You were in Kanpur at that time?
Yes, yes.
Mm,
So yeah, our factory was burnt to ashes, and my dad and we had a joint family
mm,
decided that we will move to Ludhiana,
mm,
and we moved to Ludhiana.
mm,
And I was in class 4. I was about to come to class 5, and my brother was not happy. He was 2 years elder to me. He was not
mm,
happy,
mm,
and I was very excited.
mm.
Everything new, new
Yes.
friends, new place, new school, and when we came here, so we got admission in the best school, but uh, I cried for 6 months.
Yeah.
Every day in the night,
Mm,
before going to sleep, I used to cry. Oh, I miss my friends, I miss my
mm,
teachers and everything. And the thing that made it very tough was that, you know, we were coming from Kanpur to Ludhiana.
mm,
So
mm.
there's a, you know, complete culture difference.
Sure. Sure.
And although we did speak Punjabi in our
Mm,
house, here
mm,
it was very different.
mm,
What made it, and I was a favorite of my teachers there. You
mm,
know, somewhere I've always loved my teachers, you know,
mm,
and I have got a lot of love. So
mm,
I was, you know, very attached to teachers, and the nurturing that I used to get,
mm,
and friends and everything. And when I came here, so in class 5,
mm,
they had this system at that point in time
mm,
that the A graders will be in D section
mm.
and the D graders will be in A section.
Okay. Okay.
And because I was coming midterm, they let me be in A section, which is D graders,
Mm,
you know, people who get D grade. And so I could not relate to anyone. You know, it's like, anyways, there's a language barrier, and then
right.
there's no mental connection, there is no cultural connection, there is no psychological connection, and I was
Mm,
totally lost.
mm, mm,
And because I think because my teacher connected, and this era of my life is very vibrant now, very salient in my mind.
Mm.
There was this Mrs. Hans who had come from Brazil,
Mhm, mm, mm,
and she somehow noticed a spark in me or
mm, mm,
something,
mm,
and she would tell me not to compare myself with the kids around, and she said,
mm,
no, you do better. No,
mm.
you, why did, so half a mark mistake also, she would
Yes.
not let me make.
Mm,
9.5, so she was maths teacher.
mm,
10 on 10, you can get, you should get.
mm,
So she pushed me, right? There were
mm,
other teachers, so all the teachers. So there was a Hindi teacher,
mm,
and she's doing a dictation, and she's saying Murak, and
mm.
everybody's writing Murak, and I'm looking at her, and she said, no, for you it's Murk, right? Murk, it's Hindi.
Right,
So she
right.
knows, because I'm coming from Kanpur, my
Correct.
Hindi is a little bit more than,
Yes,
and
yes.
all the teachers then gave me so much love.
Mm, mm, mm,
So they became my point of connection,
mm,
and
mm,
because they wanted me to do more,
mm.
I did more. And finally, by the end of the year, I topped all the 4 sections.
Amazing.
Because,
Amazing.
anyways, there was this itch to,
Mm.
that to make your place in a
Right,
new place,
right. Is this
And
something that is like a pattern for you? Do
exactly.
you find that you find a way to make your place? Is that something that plays out for you?
Yes, yes.
Talk to me
And I
about it.
look and I look for you know people who can give me that kind of my kick and motivator is people like that who can nurture me, like
Yes.
mentors, or this thing.
Yeah.
And I haven't got many in the workspace. I haven't
Yeah.
been fortunate in that space, but otherwise in other areas of my life, you know uh, if I look at my adult life, I've got many.
Mm, mm. And is it something, what I'm hearing you say, Jasravee, tell me if this makes sense to you, is that there is somebody who perhaps you look for, who will give you just a foot up, like a foothold. And
Mhm.
after that, you can just take off and do whatever and find your own space and shine. But that foothold is something that is important. Would you say that's true, or?
So far, like till a point in time, I have looked for an external teacher to give
Mm,
me answers,
mm.
because my questions tend to be very lofty.
Sure, sure. Huh.
And since last 5-6 years,
Mm,
I look within.
mm, mm,
I stopped that, and I think I came to a point where I said, only only you have your answers. So I
mm,
have a lot of love for my teachers, and I can, check with them and ask them. And I'm talking, like I follow a spiritual path
mm,
as well. So,
mm.
but the final answer is what comes from within me.
So you're
So
looking at yourself for your answers now.
yeah.
Mm,
So that shifted. But I realized that that pattern got formed that point in time, because perhaps I realized that because what I made possible,
yes.
I would not have been able to make possible. I would have been, looking at what is not there.
Yeah.
They looked at what I could be,
Yes.
like their tapasya.
Yes.
See, they are working with kids who don't have that potential, and since a long time. And in fact, after that year, they stopped that system also. That
Mm.
was the only year for perhaps I had to
Yeah, you
experience
were
that.
blessed. Yeah.
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 And all these teachers working on me to, because like you said, then I started from here. I
Mm,
didn't have to struggle
mm,
here, because
mm,
my world was these wonderful
mm.
teachers, because I'd listen to them, because I no other connection point.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So therein, so that was one incident. So it's always been, Shiva, that the lowest point has always been actually the highest point when I look
Mm,
back.
mm,
And I look back and I'm like, my God, if that would not have happened, you know, it's like a leap. it's like it becomes a leap, a disruptive leap of growth. So that was very tough and very educating. That was one incident. Then throughout, we got a very so there. Okay, I'm going to a very filmy time of my life. Okay,
that's all right.
So I did engineering, and then I went to Mudra Institute of Communications for post graduation. My dad didn't want me to go that far from Ludhiana to Ahmedabad, but he wanted me to get married. Lots of rishtas were coming, and we had this deal that, okay, you look for rishtas, I prepare for my exam. Whatever happens first, that's God's will. We'll go that way.
Right.
Deal. And so I got into my car, and like second year, and I'm from a, I can't say orthodox, but very religious Sikh family.
Correct.
Yes. And in the community, it's like Bhai Harnam Singh da Khandan. So my uncle has written hundreds of books on Sikhism.
Really?
He's transliterated Guru Granth Sahib. Yes, he got the Sahitya Academy Award.
Amazing.
Yeah. And my dad is also, he says I'm basically a poet, and he also wrote, a lot of books on Sikh gurus and Gurbani interpretation, key themes, etc. And there comes a point where I say I want to marry a Hindu. Yes.
So you met with someone.
And yes, I met with someone, and
met your husband.
Yes, who's my husband now.
Yes.
And so I felt a sense of commitment, and I couldn't look beyond. And I thought my dad will understand because he's a poet. And at that point in time, because they were situated in Ludhiana, it was very difficult for them to make that leap. And they felt a little sense of betrayal, which I could totally get, because they have given me all freedom and independence. Just one thing they had asked for. Do you get Punjabi?
Yes, totally. I am a Punjabi. I am a Punjabi. Yeah.
Because something, like from very deep within, when it comes
it
in
has to
Punjabi.
be your language. Yes, absolutely. Tell me.
Yeah. And Dad said, but only one thing, ki vyah Sikh nal karana hai. Only
you
that
have
one
to
thing.
Marry just marry a Sikh boy.
Yes. Anything else, grow in the world, conquer the world, do whatever. And that one thing, my soul was not allowing me to do, because I was so clear, that this is it. And so the family drama happened, which was a very Bollywood film kind of a drama. And my brother kept telling me that, okay, fine, you've decided, go. You're choosing another world, now go. Because I kept trying to call my dad, I kept writing letters, tried to explain, but it was like complete breakdown of communication with people who were my life, And I was like, what? What do I do? What do I do? And then a wise person told me, but what are you up to? What are you trying to create here? And I said, okay, I can't give up. I have to create something here. And I didn't give up. I kept communicating, etc. And then circumstances happened immediately after my wedding, wherein they actually, my father-in-law called up my father. And he had a half an hour chat. And my father-in-law was also an author from Intelligence Bureau and, archaeologist, etc., etc. And they had a long Hindi chat, because my father was also from Kanpur. So should Hindi chat.
Correct.
And my dad gave his blessings. He gave his blessings. He said, but you still, he was not totally okay, but he gave his blessings. It's a good family, go ahead. But he started coming to Bombay to meet and all that. And when he interacted, he started interacting with my husband. But he would talk a lot about Sikhism. He would talk about, Gurbani and etc., etc., and all that. So One day my husband came and told me that, I think, Ravi, your dad is trying to convert me.
Mm, mm, mm.
So I was, because I know my husband is a person of conviction. He would never ever like to be influenced in this sense.
Correct, correct.
So I went to my dad. I said, Dad, is this happening? I was angry with my dad. That because I know he's very, very, like that's our family, like they're active in promoting the religion.
Right.
So my dad said, Bula Sarvajit mo.
Mm.
And he sat on the bed, and we called my husband next to him, and he kissed his forehead, and he said, Tuta Singa Nalovi Changa, you know,
You're even
that
better
you
than the
are,
Sikhs.
you're even better Sikh, because Sikh is actually a character, is a set of qualities. And and he kissed. And honestly, that day I felt that there was a bridge between the two worlds happened. Like I went to another world, and a bridge got allowed, and because like I was completely torn between these two anchors in my life, and a bridge happened. And very till some time back, I when I talked to you, I the first thing last time I talked, I said I'm a river, you know and I realized over these few months, which has been deep contemplation, that I have been introduced to contrasts since I have been a child.
Mm.
I've had to empathize with two opposites, and so there are three things here that I felt, because like I told you, I'm trying to find out what I'm encoded for.
Sure, sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'd like your views, as we talk on this sharing. So, like my dad is a poet, and my mom is a mathematician, MSc Maths, and she was a professor and all. So, for mom, it is 1 + 1 is 2, and only 2. For my dad, 1 + 1 can be anything. To begin with, it can be 11.
Right, right, right.
It's imagination, it's right brain, and this is left brain and science, and the
Yes.
languages are completely different, left brain,
Right.
right. So those are the two contrasts that I also have. Strong brain, strong heart, that that conflict and struggle happens.
Right.
Then materialism and spirituality.
Mm.
So my immediate family, my mom, dad, very religious, and that life stage was also like that, restrained,
Mm.
to the extent some bit of denial, and slightly extended family, but again very close to me. Total materialism, shiny, style, exterior, packaging, and like that. So material first, spirit first. I mean, it just seems like it, but actually the choices completely vary. What you will prefer over another thing. Then the first character that I fell in love with was Jane Eyre. So as a feminine, hero.
Yes.
I think I was very young when I read that book, and those images have never gone away. She on her solitary walk, thinking, knowing what she thinks, and feeling that not many people would understand, but having a very clear idea of what she feels, and also the kind of love she had, the kind of devotion, everything like that. And she was plain. She was a hero who was not attractive in the conventional sense.
Sure.
But you fall in love with her for who she is.
Correct.
You just admire her. And then the other book, these are all in my formative years, like from class 6 to class 8 types, And Gone with the Wind, I read when I was in class 7, the original one. And when my father found out, because it was there in the house, he said, "Oh God, you've read it. You're not supposed to." And he gave me big reasons why you should never premature read.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't know how much I understood, but I read it. Okay. So fine, I'll be careful, I'll check. It was my master's and it was there in the house, etc., etc. And there was Scarlett O'Hara, which is a completely different feminine force.
Yes, yes.
Very beautiful, very attractive, manipulative, and not acknowledging, of true love. She couldn't even realize. When she got it, she let it go. So these were the two contrasts of feminine force.
Right.
So I was thinking that it's that river, when it is flowing, and it is listening to stories and insights across the desert, across the mountains, across the green fields. It's flowing everywhere, and somewhere it can integrate everything. Yes. It can unite.
That's right.
That's
right.
And so this whole thing of like right now, this since few years, I feel I know what I've taken from here and here.
So would you say it's a process of integration right now?
Yes.
Going on. Yeah.
Yes.
That makes a lot of sense, because being able to hold two contraries. To live in ambivalence, to understand that's when we really grow up, Jasravee. And I think you're bringing that out beautifully, to be able to live with the contrasts and to find the common thread. And wonderful. That's congratulations.
Thank you.
Because that is a great place to. It's the next level of your journey, isn't it? Beautiful to hear that. Yeah. Go ahead. Tell me more.
So basically that, I felt that, like the contrast existed because I got each side. I got how this person thinks and why this person is not open to that other thing. And I started getting that, they are blocking, their mind to open to the other side. And they're not, like you said, there's a common ground. And this is also okay, and that is also okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Both are required. Both are required in this world, So somewhere, I think, like they say, when you judge, sometimes initially when you judge, what you see is what you've not been willing to see within you.
Exactly.
And so when you're okay with it, that's also embracing your own, dark and light areas, etc., etc. So it's always started with self-reflection, examining my own self and my those own moments, and all that talk that goes on in the head, to be able to separate that and then realize that, hello, this is where it comes from.
Right.
So it's been so helpful. It's been so helpful because I have people that I love who are here and there, and and
I understand.
loving both of them, and not being able to do anything about the conflict brings some pain.
Yes.
It pains you. And then when you have resolved it, so I guess the conflict is there in you too, and when you've resolved it, you're okay with their conflict also, and you continue loving them and loving yourself.
Absolutely. As they say, as within, so without. And the more the conflict gets resolved in you, maybe, the more it's going to show up outside. And I think that is beautiful, Jasravee. So the last time we spoke a little bit, you likened yourself to a river, right? And you've mentioned that right now. Would that be your metaphor for life, in a manner of speaking? And or How would you? Yeah.
Yeah, I actually started thinking about it after I talked to you.
Mm,
And I have to, I've still to go deeper in this, but
mm,
all I know is that my dad was very keen that, and because he was a poet, you see, he was a
yeah.
very creative person. And, I've seen him write an entire poem without cutting one word, like it
Wow.
would just come to him.
Mm.
And he was a businessman. So this he would do like on the side. I mean,
He lived with that contradiction all the time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Mm.
That's the contradiction that he experienced, like religion and creativity also, there can be a conflict, right?
That's true. That's true
There is a
because religion
conflict.
is a box, and yes.
And
Yeah.
and, and so that's what, I realized that my marrying a Hindu
Mm.
was or had to be his experience as well,
Correct.
because his soul actually wanted to be free,
Exactly.
come out of the box.
Yeah.
So he wanted my name to be River, and he said, like, poets need that kind of that space, that freedom,
Yeah.
so air and water. So my brother's name is Pavan,
Right.
which is Vayu, and I'm River. And uh, so river also means immersed. There's a word ravya,
Yes.
ravya in Gurbani,
Right.
and it means immersed. So so I don't know. I you know One aspect of the river is that it will absorb.
Mm.
Uh, if you throw things,
Mm.
it will just take it.
Mm.
You know.
Mm.
So, like I have seen when a lot of people talk to me, even strangers, they just open up, and sometimes they tell me big secrets of their lives, and I'm listening to them. I'm not judging them. Later, I could, I try not to, but at that point in time, I'm just fascinated and I'm
Mm.
listening,
Mm. Mm.
and that's why I went to qualitative research, because everybody told me that you have this and this is what you would do, and I listen to what is not being said. A lot of times I would come up with an insight and they'd
Mm.
be shocked.
Mm.
And they're like, and we never said that. Not
Mm.
even, they were trying not to say it. It was like manjanat sab baat.
Yes. Yes.
So that is one thing that, insights. I get it. I
Mm.
listen, and there's an intuition going on, there's
Mm.
perception.
Mm.
So and I also realize that I do these little experiments, Sheba, wherein I take up journeys,
Mm.
and I go to some stretch and figure it out, the whole thing,
Mm.
and then come back with the understanding. That's
Mm.
that's what it is.
And these journeys are internal,
Mostly internal.
mostly internal.
Mostly internal, like pick up
Yeah.
an idea and read up more about it, figure it out, and
Mm.
try it in your routine, and
Mm.
these kind of things.
Mm. Mm.
And now my husband is very used to it. He knows that he let me be. The best thing is he'll give me a lot of space. That okay,
That's great. That's great for
she's
you. Yes.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
she's on a journey. Like
Yeah.
she'll come back and she'll tell me all about it, her insights and her learnings and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I say, Sheba, that he's like an ocean for me,
Mm.
you know. So a lot of depth and calmness on the surface. That's how a sea is. And I'll come back and renew myself. Share all the stories and
Yes.
learnings and all, and then be on a journey. So that's
What
one
a
part of
beautiful, beautiful analogy. The river goes into the ocean and then comes back.
yeah, yeah.
I think that is so powerful, and thank you
Mm,
for sharing that and bringing that up because obviously it says a lot about your relationship also.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that was the reason, now you can,
I
and
understand.
why what my father saw was that, yeah, they write for each other
Yeah,
in that sense.
yeah,
But so that was the leap of faith that I took,
yes.
Shiva. At that point in time, I was like 23, 24,
Mm,
and for
mm,
many years, when my, at least for 2 years, we delayed our, wedding, because I wanted my dad and family to come around. So
mm,
extended family was okay, but my dad was not okay. And I said, I'm going to wait it out. So, in that time, I stuck by it because that leap of faith was there,
Sure, sure, sure.
My dad nurtured it that way that, he let me have my independent voice.
Yeah, I understand.
So,
yeah. If I was to ask you about your unique lens, the way that you view the world and your gift, I say this every time, but I have to say that each individual, each human being brings something that's very unique. Nobody else on this planet is Jasravee. Nobody else. So what is that unique gift you feel you bring to humankind? Because I think each one does.
Yes, yes.
So what do you think yours is?
Yes.
What is your unique gift?
I so far what I've been thinking is to help find one's authentic voice,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
So the thing is that it seems like a line, but it is very difficult
Hmm.
to find your authentic voice beyond the conditioning,
Hmm.
beyond the expectations, beyond the chatter here, beyond what media is saying, media settings, everything. Till you find that, till you find that voice, uh, you cannot happily be on a creative path.
Hmm.
And I'm not saying, I'm saying when you are creating your life,
Hmm. Hmm.
not as a creative profession or writing or painting or anything. I mean, just to be able to create your life
Right. Right.
the way your soul will feel, ah,
This
like
is
the
what I'm here
flowers.
for. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, like the flowers,
Yes.
they're happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to be able to find that,
Hmm.
it gets tough.
Hmm.
It gets tough.
Hmm.
Like a lot of like my mom still is very happy if I tell her I've done part.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. And so I'm a very proud Sikh.
Of
And
course.
I think that every person should be proud of their religion, and that's what is written in Sikhism also, because that's the path for you, and all
Correct.
the paths are going to lead to the same
That's right.
destination.
Correct.
But uh, but I follow what I follow,
Correct.
you know
Hmm.
and I didn't marry who everybody wanted me to marry, or I mean, in the setup, I studied what I thought I should do.
Hmm.
Like I went away and all that. So, but in the process, you have to go through periods of isolation.
Hmm.
You have to go through periods of doubt,
Hmm.
and there's a lot of risk. There's
It's
a lot
like
of risk
the
because,
dark night of the soul, no?
yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So if I can help
Hmm.
and support that, go on. If you feel this is the way, nobody else feels so, take the step.
And would that be your message for people to believe in themselves enough and take the step?
Yes, try to enroll others,
Hmm.
try to explain your significant people, but if they
Hmm.
don't understand, you have to do it alone. Even when they understand, you have to do it alone.
Correct. Correct. That is a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So find your authentic voice, and I think that is the soul's voice. I mean, if one believes in soul, one believes in consciousness, one believes in
Hmm.
awareness, whatever,
Hmm.
you have to get to that,
Hmm.
and then you are a flower.
Absolutely.
You are a red and yellow flower.
Beautiful. And we began on that note, and I think it just comes back beautifully culminating to that
Yeah.
note again in this conversation, then finds a natural um, pause for right now. We may have some more conversations on this.
Sure.
So, is there anything else you'd like to say before we close out?
Yeah. So, that's what I like about my work, and I like to help brands find their authentic voice.
Right.
And it's the funny thing is I started with brands, like the tangible happens first.
Yes.
Like
And what are the brands that you have worked with? What? Just curious.
See, I've been in strategic planning in
Right.
advertising agencies. Before
Right.
that, I was with market research, qualitative.
I know. Yes.
And so I worked on most of the brands like Knorr, Dove,
Yes.
Lifebuoy, Fair and Lovely,
Yes.
and some now new age brands, Jyoti Laboratories, Lakme salons,
Yeah.
a lot of skincare brands. So even baby care. In fact, I was talking to a planner friend yesterday, and we are like, how much we understand people just because we have worked on different categories. Like the
Correct.
same individual.
Correct.
When she's a mother, she's such a different person. When she's drinking, she's a different person.
Sure.
And
Sure.
she's being fashionable, she's a different person. She's looking at home care, she's completely different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Influencer is different, motivator, role model, everything is different.
Correct. Correct.
So
Correct.
so that uh, before reaching myself, Sheba, I started with other people,
Right.
market research. Then it was brands which are very much like people,
And you say
like
looking for their authentic and finding the authentic voice for brands.
authentic voice.
Yes.
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 And after that, after all the insights that I got, because what you're finding outside, you're finding inside, no?
Correct. Correct. Correct.
And it's all come together for me to say, I was doing it for my own soul.
Amazing. Amazing to be able to make that connection and to see how the journey in your work life has actually been parallelly about you as an, individuation starting to
Yeah,
happen through that.
exactly.
And
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So thank you so much, Jasravee. This has been a wonderful conversation, and I've
Yeah.
thoroughly enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much for making the time and for sharing this journey with me and all the people who will be listening. It's been truly inspiring, and I'm sure many people will benefit from hearing your perspective and your thoughts about life per se.
Thank you so much, Sheba. And I must acknowledge you, and I want to know you more,
Yeah.
because the fact that I'm to talk to you started a subconscious integration of a lot of things. Honestly, this Diary of Anne Frank and Gone with the Wind thing was completely not in my conscious mind in the last 1 month. And it must be your energy and prayers that people get something out of this.
Thank you.
I can say that with confidence, because it happened with me. And it just like, the connections happened with for my clarity. So thank you so much. And, I would, I would actually ask a lot of questions of you. And if there is time, there is one that can I ask?
Of course, of course.
I want to ask about Orville and how it entered your life.
Auroville and how it entered my life. Certainly, we can do that. I can actually do that once we after this conversation. I can take you
Okay,
through that, and
sure,
we'll do that.
sure,
And so,
sure, sure.
but for this conversation, we can just end now. Thank you so much, Jasravee. It's
Thank you
been an
so
absolute
much.
pleasure.
It's been amazing. Unbelievable.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.